Tonight, these three teams compete on Academic Challenge. Brought to you by the Illuminating Company. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Lou Magglio.
Good luck. Good luck. Good luck to you. Good evening and welcome to Academic Challenge, where tonight teams from Madison High of Mansfield, Avon Lake, and Brecksville-Broadview Heights are competing in our 26th year. Now here's a look at tonight's categories. The categories in our first electronic challenge round will be history, literature, math, the right number, trivia, Ohio, sports, associations, and famous men and women. And here are the rules for the opening round. Each team starts with 100 points and will have 6 questions. Each correct answer earns 10 points. No penalties in this round. We'll begin with Madison, Charles Fisher, Fred Slater, and Alex Kakavas. Fred Slater, you are the captain. The lights are in motion, Fred, so push your yellow button and we'll see which category you've selected for the opening round. Tonight, you have landed on sports. If you're all sports fans, we'll have 6 sports questions coming up for you. Here is number 1. It was big news in Japan when, in 1989, a Hawaiian known as Kanashink won the Emperor's Cup in what very heavyweight form of wrestling?
Sumo?
Right. The butterfly stroke is learned by swimmers, but the butterfly pass and the Veronica are moves practiced by what sort of athletes whose ranks included El Cordobés?
Sword fighting?
So, no, we were looking for bullfighting on that one. Pitcher Stu Miller was actually blown off the mound by strong winds during a 1960s baseball game in what San Francisco Stadium, a site of the 1989 World Series.
Candlestick Park?
Correct. The first uniform number to be retired by the Milwaukee Brewers was 44, the number of what baseball slugger who hit 755 home runs?
Hank Aaron?
That is it. At the 1988 Olympics, boxer Kennedy McKinney represented the U.S. in which boxing weight class whose name suggests a small rooster?
Bantamweight?
Bantamweight is correct, Fred. In September of 1989, the Cleveland Cavaliers acquired guard Steve Kerr from what NBA team in the Southwest?
Phoenix?
Phoenix is correct, Fred. You pulled it out, and Madison, you finish up with 150 points. Now Avon Lake, David Berger, Jill Clymer, and Mike Barrett. Jill Clymer is the captain. Jill, the lights are spinning around. Please push that yellow button, and you have landed on trivia. Here we go. 6 questions for you. According to recent estimates, the continent of Australia has under 16 million people, but more than 18 million of what high-hopping marsupials whose young are called joeys?
Kangaroos?
Yes. Before Casey Jones died, he indicated a desire to ride on what Southwestern Railroad that later merged with the Atchison and Topeka lines?
Santa Fe.
Santa Fe is right. In Northern European myths, a lindworm is a wingless variety of what large fire-breathing monster?
The dragon.
Dragon is correct. If the president could tap a fictional character for his cabinet, what fictional king with a golden touch would be an excellent secretary of the Treasury?
Midas.
Midas is right. Had you been invited to a splash party by the mythical Leander, you would have been appropriately splashed in what waters now called the Dardanelles? Any attempts on this one? The correct answer there was the Hellespont. Frozen carbon dioxide is commonly described with what 2-word phrase suggesting that while it might be frozen, it is not wet?
Dry ice.
Dry ice is correct. Avon Lake, you too finish up with 150 points. Team number 3 is Brecksville, Brian Voigt, Naoko Munakata, and Adam Tucker. Naoko is the captain. The lights are spinning. Please push that yellow button. And you have landed on literature. Here we go. Black author Ralph Ellison and science fiction writer H.G. Wells each wrote a famous story about what sort of man who can't be seen by those around him.
Invisible Man?
Right. In his poem, The Highwayman, Alfred Noyes used the phrase, a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, to describe what celestial body visited by man in 1969.
The moon.
Correct. The skating race in the story Hans Brinker is largely fiction because it is highly unusual for the canals to freeze in what country where Hans Brinker and his sister supposedly lived.
The Netherlands?
Right. Hollywood designer Charles D. Hall did the eerie sets for a movie version of what Edgar Allan Poe's story in which a dark feline named Pluto is walled up with a woman's corpse.
The Fall of the House of Usher.
No, the answer we were looking for was The Black Cat. Human veins are made of pliable material, but the title of a book by Ellen Glasgow refers to a vein of what metallic element often described by the adjective ferric?
Iron?
Iron is correct. A midshipman named Peter Haywood is remembered by naval historians because he was an eyewitness to the 1789 mutiny aboard what British warship?
Bounty.
The Bounty is correct. Guess what? All three teams finished the first round with 150 points. Our very fast-paced lightning round. The lightning round is coming up next, but teams remember that at the end of every match, we'll check the ladder on our Super Bowl scoreboard. At the end of the season, the teams with the three top scores will be back for an Academic Challenge Super Bowl. So far, the highest point totals are Mentor, North Royalton, and Fairview. The lightning round is next, right after this, from the Illuminating Company.
We take anywhere from 3,000 to 4,500 calls in our office. It's hectic, it's challenging, it's fun.
The pace may be grueling to someone else, but we can enjoy it.
I am the link between the customer and the answer to their problem.
We're able to deal with the customers on a more personal basis because we're customers too.
As the customer told me yesterday, I know you get things done.
We're working to keep you working.
A little goodwill can work wonders. When you support Goodwill Industries, you help provide work training and job placement services to people right here in your own community.
You can contribute your time.
You can donate clothing and household items.
You can give financial support.
When you give, it benefits people with disabilities and other special needs who rely on Goodwill programs. See what a little goodwill can do for your community. Support Goodwill Industries.
We'll get back to the match in just a moment, but first a look at the schools that are competing tonight. Because Mansfield Madison is a comprehensive high school, it's more than 1,000 students receive the education of their choice. Media specialist and academic challenge team advisor Kathleen Manberg tells us Madison won first place in the National Health Occupations Knowledge Bowl in 1989, and that Madison is home to 2 winners of National Council of Teachers Writing Awards. Madison's library is the largest in the county, and the 12,000-foot field house was built entirely with community donations. Avon Lake High's 825 students can be proud of the school's marching band, which has a history of superior ratings and of the top-notch vocal music program. Media specialist Pamela Hoffman is in her 6th season as Academic Challenge Advisor. Avon Lake's facilities include a well-designed media center, a TV studio, and a planetarium. Last year's graduating class of 235, 78% went on to college. At Brecksville-Broadview Heights High School, the Student Council collected over 8,000 cans of food for the needy this school year. Another project is the annual Red Cross Blood Drive. Linda Giffen, an English teacher, is in her 1st season as Academic Challenge Advisor. She tells us that members of the speech team and various art classes are outstanding competitors in state and national events. The marching band performed at the Liberty Bowl in Memphis this year. And now it's time for the lightning round. Here are the rules.
All 3 teams will compete in a visual free-for-all lasting 75 seconds. The first team to ring its bell for each item will be recognized. The right answer gets you 10 points, but will take away 10 points for an incorrect answer or failure to reply.
Lightning round provides you with glittering opportunities because it's all about gold. Please identify the persons, places, and things associated with the following clues. She and sister-in-law FloJo won gold at 1988 Olympics. Any attempts? Madison.
Jackie Joyner Kersey.
You got it right. Author of Good as Gold and Catch-22, Madison again.
Joseph Heller.
Right. He found gold of 40 thieves by saying open sesame, Avon Lake.
Alibaba.
Correct. Gold Beach, a 1944 invasion site in this French province. We have, I'm sorry, we're going to have to pass on that. Remind the teams, please hold those buzzers down. Statue with torch beside the golden door. Brecksville.
Statue of Liberty.
Correct. Fairy tale character who spun straw into gold. Avon Lake.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes. U.S. Gold Repository in Kentucky. Madison.
Fort Knox.
Correct. British secret agent who outwits Goldfinger. Avon Lake.
Tucson.
Yes. Medieval science tried to turn base metals into gold. Avon Lake.
Alchemy.
Yes, that's it. Chief Greek god visited Danae and shower of gold. Avon
Zeus.
Lake. Zeus is correct. Turkish city located on Golden Horn. Avon Lake.
Istanbul.
Yes. Goldilocks sampled their porridge. And we have Brecksville.
Three Bears.
Three Bears is correct, and that'll do it for the lightning round. Teams, don't forget that at the end of the season, the three teams with the highest scores are back to compete in the Academic Challenge Super Bowl and will each receive a computer for their school. Computer prizes are provided by Apple Computer Incorporated and Holcomb's Educational Materials, Apple's largest educational dealer in the state of Ohio. See Holcomb's for special educator purchase prices. There are more apples in schools today than any other computer. The team that wins the Super Bowl will also get a very special championship trophy. You see it there. There's more Academic Challenge to come, but first, listen to this from the Illuminating Company.
And you hear all the raving cheers and, yay, lights are on. It just brings something to you, makes you feel like you did something satisfying for them.
Monday's our busiest day of the week. We take anywhere from 3,000 to 4,500 calls in our office. It's hectic, it's challenging, it's fun.
Because one of the things that our company has worked on is reliable service. We are a service company.
So when we're out there trying to restore service during a storm condition, we know exactly how those folks feel.
I have industrial accounts. I am the link between the customer and the answer to their problem. I have an engineering degree, and I'm capable of answering their questions.
People who own, operate, develop, build buildings over the long run, he's going to be glad that he used our product because we're going to be here. We expect him to be here.
As the customer told me yesterday, I know you get things done.
We're working to keep you working.
Let's recap what the lightning round did for the score of the teams, then it's back to the electronic challenge board.
In this round, each question is worth 20 points, but now you may lose 20 points for incorrect answers or lose 10 points for failure to reply. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will gain 25 bonus points. The categories in this electronic challenge round will be history, literature, energy science, color spectrum, letter perfect, hot luck, all the same, says who, and geography. And Madison, it is your turn again. Fred, you're the captain, and I'm sure you know what to do. You have landed on pot luck. Again, there are 8 questions in this round. To amuse his daughter, the Russian composer Alexander Borodin developed what children's piano piece sharing its name with the Chinese eating utensils?
Chopsticks.
Right. There's only one species of human being, but there are 291 species of what small mole-like creature whose name has become a synonym for a scolding, bad-tempered woman.
Shrew.
Shrew is right. Flowers in the Blood, a nonfiction book by Jeff Goldberg, is a study of what dangerous drug obtained from poppy flowers that named 19th century wars between Britain and China.
Opium?
Yes, the Opium Wars. Although John Greenwood's tombstone describes him as a patriot of the Revolution, Mr. Greenwood was best known for fashioning what oral prosthesis for George Washington?
Wooden teeth.
Dentures, false teeth, yes, we can accept that. The first black American to appear on a U.S. postage stamp was Booker T. Washington, founder of what educational institute in Alabama?
Tuskegee.
Correct. The person who consults the McManus Young Collection at the Library of Congress would be reading books on what subject whose skilled performers included Houdini?
Magic.
Magic is correct, Charles. The monarch of the Glen, a famous painting of an antlered stag was originally commissioned for the members' club of what upper house of Britain's Parliament?
House of Lords.
House of Lords is right. Although it concerns a gritty police district, a recent novel by Ed McBain has what one-word title that identifies a gentle song often sung to a baby?
Lullaby.
Lullaby is correct. Madison, congratulations. You got everyone right, and you get bonus points for that. And now it is Avon Lake's turn. Jill Clymer is the captain. Jill, push that yellow button, please. And you have landed on literature. Here we go. Although as secretary to the Admiralty, he wrote shipping reports, Samuel Pepys won lasting fame for what sort of personal book also kept by Anne Frank?
Diary.
Yes. Movie monsters come and go, but permanent fame is assured such horror figures as Frankenstein, Dracula, and what monster eventually killed by Beowulf?
Grendel.
Right. Economic desperation drove the Joad family from the Dust Bowl in the 1930s in what novel by John Steinbeck?
Grapes of Wrath.
That's it. In a story by Guy de Maupassant, the fictional Madame Loisel first borrows, then loses what item of jewelry?
Necklace.
Correct. Readers hoping to unlock the mystery of Captain Bennett's Folly, a novel by Barry Fleming, should note that it is set mainly in what chain of small islands extending south from Florida?
The Keys.
Yes, the Florida Keys. Against a background of weird music, actor Jack Nicholson recorded How the Rhinoceros Got His Skin, one of the Just So stories written by what English author?
Rudyard Kipling.
Yes. Springfield, Massachusetts was the setting for, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, the first book by what children's writer who later created Horton the Elephant?
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss is right, Jill. In Eugene O'Neill's play, The Emperor Jones, the so-called emperor has as his first name the name of what assassin of Julius Caesar?
Brutus.
Brutus is correct. Avon Lake, you too get them all right, and you too get bonus points. Congratulations. Now it's Brecksville's turn. Nalco, you're the captain. Please push that yellow button to stop the lights. You have landed on the letter perfect. All answers in this packet begin with the letter R. They begin with the letter R. Each year, about 2 million tourists head for what South Dakota mountain with the heads of 4 presidents carved on its side?
Rushmore.
Yes. If the physicist Robert Goddard were alive today, he might root for what Houston pro basketball team that names the projectiles developed by Goddard?
Rockets.
Yes. Only 2 Old Testament books bear the names of women, Esther and what faithful daughter-in-law of Naomi?
Ruth.
Ruth is correct, Adam. I have no enemies save those of the state. This assertion was made on his deathbed by what French statesman who actually made a lot of enemies in his role as cardinal and chief minister to Louis XIII.
Richelieu.
Yes. To have served under General Leonard Wood in the Spanish-American War, you would have enlisted in what alliteratively named regiment that also included Theodore Roosevelt.
Rough Riders.
The Rough Riders is right. The geographic North Pole wasn't reached until this century, but the North Magnetic Pole was located in 1831 by what explorer who also gave his name to Antarctica's vast ice shelf?
Ross.
Ross is right, Sir James Ross. The Earth revolves around the sun, but what other word describes the turning of a planet on its axis?
Revolution.
No, we're looking for rotates, rotation on that one. A psychiatrist reading The Wizard of Oz might observe that the Tin Woodman had an understandable case of iophobia, which is a fear of what common form of oxidation?
Rust.
Rust is correct, Adam, and Brecksville finishes up with 290 points. And we'll be right back to the time capsule round after this message. Stay with us.
Assembly lines, production lines, lines that mean jobs for Northeast Ohioans. For years, the Illuminating Company has helped bring new businesses here with thousands of new jobs and paychecks. And CEI people are still fighting for more. So when you think about it, our power lines deliver a lot more than electricity.
We're working to keep you working.
This glorious day
Today
is a school day,
a little bit brighter,
a work day,
a little bit lighter,
a business day.
Today
shopping day.
A little bit faster, a little better.
A 24-hour day like any other day that starts up with people you count on. 6,000 people on the line. The Energy Makers.
Making today a little brighter.
On tonight's show will receive a photograph of their team as they appear on the show and an Academic Challenge t-shirt. In addition, the winners of tonight's show will receive a special plaque commemorating their victory.
And welcome back to Academic Challenge. As we update the team scores on your screen, you'll hear the rules for the upcoming time capsule round. We now have a special round of three-part video questions. The questions are keyed to a clip from an historic newsreel. All three teams will be in direct competition. Each part of the three-part question is worth 10 points. And there's a 10-point penalty for incorrect answers. Don't forget to hold your buzzer down if you wish to answer. All right, let's roll the evening's first video clip. Linus Pauling and Edward Teller have long been prominent in scientific debate. In recent years, Dr. Teller has urged Americans to adopt what system of measurement that includes Brecksville?
Metric.
Yes. Already a recipient of a Nobel Prize for Chemistry, in 1952, Linus Pauling was given another Nobel Prize in what same field for which the Dalai Lama was honored in 1989, Madison.
Peace Prize.
Peace is correct. More recently, Linus Pauling attracted controversy by claiming that the common cold can be cured by large doses.
Vitamin C.
Brecksville. Vitamin C is correct. Thank you. Now let's roll the evening's second video clip. Born in 1918, Robert Wadlow was the tallest man in the world in the 1930s. Considering his altitude, it might seem fitting that he lived in the town of Alton in what Midwestern state whose capital is Springfield. Brecksville.
Illinois.
Illinois is right. Even if you're not a giant, your growth has been controlled by the same human gland that caused Mr. Wadlow's height, and that is what small? Brecksville?
Pituitary.
Pituitary is correct. Robert Wadlow eventually reached the height of 8 feet and 11 inches, which sounds equally awesome if you convert it into what equivalent total number of inches? Inches. Madison.
107.
107 is exactly right. You got it. Now let's roll the evening's third video clip. General George S. Patton, one of the leading commanders of World War II, died of injuries sustained in an auto accident in what same year that had seen the end of World War II, Brecksville.
1945.
45 is right. A graduate of West Point, General Patton had been the first American to compete in the Olympics in what event in which pistol shooting is one of 5 required skills? Avon Lake.
Pentathlon?
Yes. George S. Patton was buried in a military cemetery in what small European Grand Duchy, which remains one of the Avon Lake.
Luxembourg.
Yes, that is correct, and that'll do it for the time capsule round. Well, that ends the time capsule round. We'll be back for the final grab bag round right after this message from the Illuminating Company.
You know, my friends from out of town used to ask me, why do you like Cleveland so much? I'd tell them, if they came to Cleveland, they'd see for themselves. We're a city of people, quality people. We're industrious. We're hardworking. We know how to get things done. Clevelanders working together. That's the way to a brighter future. Now when my friends call, they ask, when can we come to visit? I tell them anytime. Right?
We're working to keep you working.
It's in great condition, but you just don't need it anymore. Give it to Goodwill. Goodwill will sell it to someone who will make great use of it, and the money it brings will help pay for Goodwill's vocational programs for people with disabilities and other special needs, training to help them qualify for work, and placement services to help them find jobs. The quality items you donate mean quality training for the people Goodwill helps. So give to Goodwill Industries. See what a little Goodwill can do for your community.
Now teams face their final competition, the grab bag. First, a recap of the scores. In third place with 340 points, it's Brecksville. In second place with 385 points, it's Madison. And our leader so far with 415 points, it is Avon Lake. In the grab bag, teams pick up 20 points for each correct answer. Mr. failed to answer, and 20 points are deducted. Okay, teams, here we go with the first question of the grab bag. When George Bush ran an oil company back in the 1950s, his employees once included what man who is now the commissioner of Major League Baseball? Madison.
Faye Vincent.
Faye Vincent is right. A song by the rock band The Who uses the odd phrase, city in the sky, to describe which Soviet republic devastated by an earthquake. Madison.
Armenia.
Armenia is correct. 1973 America's Cup and the 1979 Fastnet yacht races were both won by boats captained by what Georgia businessman who owns CNN, Avon Lake?
Ted Turner.
Yes. The logarithm of a certain number to the base 10 equals 0. What is the number? Madison.
1.
1 is right. Last Thanksgiving, something called temperature-stabilized turkey was prepared for astronauts aboard what space shuttle whose name suggests it's a real find? Madison.
Discovery.
Yes. The Hooters, a current band, recently recorded with Peter, Paul, and Mary, a song whose title describes what large number of miles? Any attempts on this one? 500 miles. 500 miles. In 1856, a botanist of Scottish descent gave his name to what sort of nut that is now especially cultivated in Hawaii? Brecksville.
Macadamia.
Yes. In 1804, John Pickering became the first judge who was removed from office after what congressional action described in Article 1, Avon Lake?
Impeachment.
Impeachment is correct. The Earth makes a complete revolution in 24 hours. Through how many degrees does it turn in 3 hours? Any attempts on this? Madison.
1080.
No, 45 degrees, 45. It was not until January of 1990 that the Organization of American States was formally joined by what country that has the largest land area of any nation in this hemisphere? Avon Lake.
Canada.
Canada is right. While we don't recommend the movies, we will note that the first Friday the 13th film was set in what month, which includes the summer solstice? Brecksville.
June.
June is correct. Some actors specialized in character roles, but movie actors Art Miles and Charles Gamora were noted for appearing in films not as humans, but as what largest of the anthropoid apes? Avon. Gorillas is correct. Choice, when a uranium nucleus decays by emitting an alpha particle, it is changed into a nucleus of thorium, plutonium, or lead. Madison.
Lead.
No, thorium. Thorium on that. It takes years to develop a good vocabulary. Peter Mark Roget was 73. That's it. We're out of time. That concludes this evening's match. Now it's time to check the final standings. In third place tonight with 380 points, it is Brecksville. Second place, 425 points, Madison. First place, our champion tonight with 495 points, we have Avon Lake. Congratulations. Now let's take a look at our Super Bowl scoreboard and see if tonight's winner has a big enough score to win a place for itself on the ladder. 495 points. You come up short, but a good competition tonight. So don't forget to join Academic Challenge next week when we will spotlight teams from Western Reserve, Vermilion, and Lake Catholic. I'm Lou Magglio. Thank you very much for watching. We hope to see you next time for the next edition of Academic Challenge. Good night, everybody.
Academic Challenge has been brought to you by the Illuminating Company.